Happy Sunday, free enterprise fans. Grab your favorite juice or cider and don't blink or you might miss the race because it's Appleseed time. I am Smatey and I'm joined today with Tirasu and ready for another a day of qualifying action. How you doing, Tirasu?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
Can't complain, can't complain. So we've got our third of four qualifying matches this weekend in the World Series of Free Enterprise Appleseed event. What are you looking forward to in this particular race here, Tirasu?
I would love to see the crystal be locked behind the hooks.
Yeah, it would be nice to have some sort of chase for the crystal. In our previous two qualifiers, we had some very, very early crystals being given at the beginning of the race in our first qualifier, and then our second, Edward having it over there as a free item in Troya. So far this weekend, we've had a series of really quick races, so it'd be nice to see something with a little more substance today.
Let's see. Have the Baron Keyed hold the Earth Crystal hold the Twin Harp hold the Hook, and the Hook be your way to the underground to get the crystal and the Dwarf.
Okay, now I just said some substance. I didn't say some pure evil. That's an entire different level entirely.
That would be perfect, though. Have a nice long one since the first two were very short.
Looks like we're about to start this race. The countdown has begun. And we're going to see what exactly our runners are going to be up against here today.
Well, that's a powerful start.
That is indeed. You always like to see that Fu Edge combo. A lot of times the characters that you get on these Appleseeds don't matter too much, but Edge with his massive amount of speed can be incredibly useful in a lot of fights, especially that Zeromus fight where you really are kind of down to the wire as far as getting your turns in at a proper time.
Oh, definitely. I love seeing Edge Fu right at the start. And of course, Fu is guaranteed.
Right, that guaranteed food means there are a lot of solid strategies that are open right from the get-go. We're already seeing some divergence here. Swami Leone going directly over to Mysidia to check for items there and get those two free characters. Everyone else starting with the pretty typical Baron start here. And some silk webs and hourglasses for sale in Baron. None of the major key items, or not key items, but the powerful items that our characters, or excuse me, our runners are going to be looking for to get that Z fight. But some nice items nonetheless.
You can see all four runners choosing to go in different locations now. One to Troya, one to Kaipo, and one to...
Yes, already this is looking really, really interesting. We'll get to get a look here at where some of these items are. We're seeing some Star Veils over in Agart. That's one of those items that you're definitely going to want going into Zeromus. And was that the Magma Key at Bedward?
That was the Magma Key at Bedward today.
Yes, that might be the first time we actually catch a glimpse of the underworld this weekend, so that's definitely exciting. Glory 14 taking care of the Baron Inn bosses. We're going to get a look at the key item available there. It's the package. Not particularly useful in this flag set with the abundance of characters freely available. And you can really see a lot of the very how kind of heavy the menuing and such is on these Appleseed seeds. A lot of these runners just using exit to get out of towns quickly. Just they really know that every second really matters when you have seeds that are as short and to the point as this.
Oh, definitely. It looks like we have the pass in Kaipo today.
So that's definitely a big find. No one wants to have to walk through the moon and an Appleseed to get to the Zeromus, so That pass allows instant access to the last boss. All we need is the crystal, and we'll be good to go against Zeromus here. And Big Rich. Oh, Big Rich for a moment there. Thought it was going for it. Actually used the pass to open the pathway to Zeromus, but then backs off. I thought for a second maybe we had missed him getting the crystal, or if he was going without it. But no, just opening the way and not going through it. So
I thought that would have been interesting.
I thought maybe they knew something we didn't, but no, it turns out that they just wanted that door open. Swimmy Leone here over in the Baron Inn fights, taking care of Wyvern. Gonna get that package, so unfortunately not gonna get any progress there, and BG Rich is gonna be our first runner to actually go into the underworld itself.
Makes sense. A lot of easy key items to find in the underworld.
Kate Sith making the play on Kaipo now is going to find that pass for themselves and be a step closer to finishing this. Checking out, that's interesting. There is Stardust Rods available in the Kaipo weapon shop, which is huge for Fusoya, as that's going to be a large increase in the amount of damage that Fusoya's nuke spell is going to do. For certain strategies, reflecting nuke on Zeromus, you want to hit certain benchmarks as far as damage goes, making sure you skip that HP refill, and Stardust Rod is a really great way of making sure those nukes do enough damage.
Most definitely. And it looks like on Flurry's side, we found the gold apple.
See, it was gold apples in Silvera, ironically enough. But yeah, those gold apples are key to Appleseed. In fact, where it gets its name from. Increasing HP by 100 for each apple use. You just force feed your characters that, and all of a sudden they've got enough HP to eat those big bangs that Zeromus throws out, and open up a number of strategies like kamikazes on Zeromus that can do max damage when you have 9,999 HP on them. Earth Crystal over here at Antline, so that opens up a possibility for Swimmy Leone. Maybe going down that side quest path and seeing if a crystal is at the end. And in BG Rich screen, we're going to see a check of the Feymarch shop here and the key item that is in that chest in the Feymarch. And it is the Adamant, not particularly useful on this flag set, so BG Rich is going to exit on out of there.
Looks like Swimmy Leone is going to do the Fabul sequence.
And yeah, I believe this is the first we've seen on screen of the full defense. It is the King Queen Eblin fight. Ordinarily, this is a free fight. There's a storyline trigger where this fight will end itself. However, you've got to wait a couple of turns for that to happen, and when you got a Fusoya with access to Nuke and Quake right off the bat, really no reason to sit around and wait for that. Might as well just take care of it and end it on your own time.
Certainly a lot faster.
A little bit of sync up with Swimmy Leone and Kate Sith too, who is also going in on that King Queen Eblin fight here at Fabul. They're going to be rewarded with a Twin Harp, so another side quest item here. So already we're seeing a very interesting Appleseed. A lot of avenues open up here, and no one stumbled across that winning combination just yet.
No, and the Twin Harp is quite a time investment if you want to pursue.
Right, but even though it's a time investment, it's a definite way to ingratiate yourself with chat, because that Twin Harp does let you play some music that everybody gets to enjoy. So, while maybe not the quickest check, it is definitely the fan favorite check. And already chat hoping that there is crystal behind music today.
That would be a fun place for the crystal to be.
And BG Rich stumbles across the silver apples in Dwarf Castle, going ahead and loading up on them. I don't think that they stopped by Silveria yet, so I haven't found the gold apples. Silver apples give you 50 HP a pop instead of 100, so it's significantly more menuing time, but if you can't find the gold apples, they will do in a pinch.
Look like they also picked up a couple Soma drops as well, which will increase your MP by 10.
Right. Can be definitely useful, especially if you aren't able to find the elixirs. Now, there are certain glitches that are enabled in here, one of them being the MP underflow glitch, which allows you to essentially underflow Fusoya's MP and give him virtually limitless supply of MP in certain battles, but that does get disabled whenever you get a health refill like you do before the final Zeromus fight. So if you don't have elixirs, those Soma drops can massively increase his MP pool and be really useful to make sure you've got the MP depending on what strategy you use in that Zeromus fight. And yeah, Kate Sith is going through Cave Magnus here and is going for the Twin Harp play. So the MVP that chat needs, going for the music. Let's see if it pays off. BG Rich popping into Silvera here, finding those actual gold apples here now. Unfortunately, just means their inventory is going to be cluttered with a bunch of silver apples. Keatsith manages to knock his party out. And let's get ready for a concert from Edward himself. And I believe that's Butterfly from Dance Dance Revolution, unless I've missed my guess. Boy, that brings me back to the early Audis.
That's a little unexpected, but a good choice.
And BG Rich has managed to pick up the crystal and is on their way to Troya to turn it in, and looks like we're going to have our first Zeromus play here. Now, he's got a bunch of menuing here to do with those gold apples, feed them to his party members to get them in the position they need to be to fight Zeromus. But it looks like BG Rich is going to be our first of the restreamers to make the challenge on the final boss. Seems like Sheila was holding on to the crystal the whole time.
Means Rona's gonna have to go pay Yang a visit and then run back to the overworld. Not the worst in the world, but a little bit of a time sink.
Yeah, it's always one of those checks that's it's very easy to make, especially in maybe more traditional flag sets. It's a check that you'll make usually earlier just because it doesn't have any bosses involved, and if you're in the underworld at a particularly low level, it can be easy to make. One of those checks that it's often easy to overlook and get sidetracked with other things in a flag set like this that gives you access to a fully powered Fusoya right from the beginning. You know, you have all this strength to take down all these bosses and do all these checks in the underworld. That free Yang check usually isn't the thing at the forefront of your mind when you're down there. So, kind of a big play here for BG Rich to be to grab it.
Oh, definitely. And it looks like Flurry is going to go give Yang a quick visit as well.
And it looked like the pan was available from doing the warp glitch to get into the sealed cave from Dwarf Castle. So everybody going to Dwarf Castle looking for that 2-for-1 value there is going to get pushed in the right direction, because grabbing that pan usually is the indicator to go hit Young with it, because that means you're going to get 2 items from Sheila. So our group over here that's doing Dwarf Castle is going to get pushed in the right direction. And yeah, Flurry making the pan connection with Young's forehead here. Got to imagine that his next move is going to be go to turn that pan back into Sheila.
Oh, definitely. That is 2 free items, and it looks like Kate Sith got that hook and is going to make use.
Yeah, it looks like Kate Sith is probably checking the Eblin item shop. Trying to think of what items we have not seen that could be useful. I'm not sure if we have seen kamikazes yet, which factor into a lot of strategies.
We have seen kamikazes.
Oh, we have. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I can't remember quite where they were, but they were pretty early on when we saw.
Okay. So you've seen kamikazes. There were star veils that were available early as well. So yeah, it looks like they might have everything that they need to actually go into this, depending on what strategy they want to use against Aromas. And BG Rich has finished with his Apple distribution here. All of his characters are at that maximum 9,999 HP. It's going to put him into a fantastic spot for using those kamikaze strats against Zeromus. Let's see how this fares and how well he does here. Oh, and Swimmy Leone's gone into the Fey March. Looks like after doing the Yang check, is still doing a couple other random checks here in the Underworld. Little do they know that they have actually done everything they need to get the crystal. They just got to go pick it up.
Kate Sith making a play on Mount Ordeals, though. Not really going to find much there except for Cecil into a Paladin.
Yeah, Ordeals with its 3 bosses is kind of a lengthy check. Usually not a check you want to have to make unless you absolutely have to. So, and unfortunately we know that this is going to be rather fruitless for Kate Sith.
Okay, what's our Zeromus sprite going to be today?
Yeah, let us find out whose butt we are going to kick this afternoon. And Swimmy Leone converting with that pan there, and should probably be on the way to pick up the Sheila items and get that crystal for themselves. Flurry's appling up for the fight, and it is the Duck Hunt dog that we're fighting today.
Everyone wants to kill the Duck Hunt dog.
Absolutely. Taking a break from Smash Brothers to come over and taunt our Appleseed runners just a little bit. So we see the Silk Web going out from BG Rich. That's going to slow down Zeromus massively. Immediately goes into the Kamikaze strats here. So what he wants to be careful of here is the certain threshold of HP that Zeromus can go to before it does an HP refill. Once you get to that point, you want to start reflecting nukes instead of using kamikazes, and that'll prevent Zeromus' script from going into its HP refill. And then once you get him within range of one last kamikaze, you throw your last character at it, and if all the math adds up, then you have a very quickly defeated Zeromus. Speaking of quickly defeated Zeromus, we have a winner. Aizen Tayama is finished in first place with an official SRL time of 18 minutes 4 seconds. GG Aizen Tayama.
GG, well played.
And the life 2 goes out from Fusoya. That's going to put somebody back at max HP and ready for another kamikaze.
Flurry 14 starting up their Zeromus fight.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Now, you'll note that a slightly different strategy here from Flurry. Rather than putting all of his characters at max HP, he's left one of his Fusoyas, or excuse me, well, his only Fusoya, since he didn't get the double Fu, at only 4,000 HP. That prevents a little bit of menuing time, with the understanding that you're never going to use that Fusoya to kamikaze. That Fusoya is only going to be casting Life 2 to get one of your kamikazeers back up, and to reflect nukes. So there's no need to get that Fusoya as high in HP, just high enough to survive a big bang or two. Saves you a lot of time when you're constantly giving those apples to people. So let's see if that earns him the time back from going into the fight a little later than BG Rich. Yeah, and it looks like BG Rich isn't doing the refill skip. It looks like they're just going for the pure, overwhelming Zeromus with kamikazes here. And then just spamming the life 2s. Definitely a viable strat if you're not comfortable with the HP calculations, which can get a little messy. But no, we're here with the reflected nukes here, which it might be a little too late, depending on how many kamikazes he's thrown out. Zeromus might have already hit that HP refill, so not sure if this is going to work or not. Oof. Flurry taking a big bang there, but Fusoya does hold on, gets the elixir off just in time. There's a reflected nuke there. It's got an edge that's getting ready. And I believe Flurry needs to reflect one more nuke to put Zeromus into the right amount of HP here. Moonveil goes back up. There's the second nuke. And one more elixir to top off Edge's HP, and then I think we'll see him kamikazeing here. It looks like he wants to do one more nuke just for safety here. And then here's the kamikaze. And this should be enough damage to finish Zeromus off.
So and Leone getting ready to take on their Zeromus fight. And with that, Flurry took out Zeromus.
Wow, and then you can see the strength of that particular strategy. Went in significantly later than BG Rich, but still manages to sneak a finish right underneath his nose. Official SRL time for Flurry 14 of 21 minutes, 46 seconds. That gives Flurry 14 second place and a spot at the final table for the Appleseed World Series of Free Enterprise. So, big GG to Flurry 14.
GG, very well played.
And just as we say that, we get a flash from BG Rich's screen. BG Rich is going to finish in fourth place with a time of 22 minutes, 25 seconds. Beaten to the punch just barely by Zilch, who sneaks into third place with an official time of 22 minutes, 9 seconds. So GG to all of our finishers so far.
Very nicely done from all of them. Swimmy entering their Dogmas fight, and Kate Sith still hasn't found that magma key, I think, or just hasn't gone to the underground to talk to Sheila. Well, Yang and do the Sheila sequence, but
yeah, he's got that magma key, has what they need. They just have not been to check Yang. They're making all these superfluous checks, and that's unfortunately one of the the problems you can run into when you have this incredible amount of freedom like this. We saw our runners get a lot of side quest items. When you start with a fully powered Foo, you really have the strength to do almost any check in the world you can come across. It can be really hard to know exactly what check you need to make, and you can kind of get overwhelmed with all of the options available for you and just start running down the wrong holes. And unfortunately for Kate Sith, just not able to zero in on just that Yang check that they need. Got a couple more finishes here. Dusty Griff finishing 5th place with 23:02. Pidge01 finishes in 6th place with a time of 23:05, just behind Dusty Griff there. And Error is going to take 7th place with a time of 24 minutes 2 seconds. So GG to all the finishers. And 9th place finish checking in here at 24 minutes 39 seconds. That goes to Abda Jr., excuse me. GG Abda Jr.
GG.
And it looks like Kate Sith is finally making the play to go into the underworld here. Looks like they've exhausted the overworld checks. Go into the underworld here. Hopefully they'll take the quick Yang check and be on their way to Zeromus.
Let's hope, but they did find that tower key on Mount Ordeals. And Swimmy Leone finishing up their Zeromus fight.
Yeah, Swimmy Leona finishing 10th place with a time of 25:34. So GG Swimmy. And right behind Swimmy is Chokosura with an 11th place finish and a time of 25:51. And it looks like we're going to get some of our featured runners in here for an interview. And it looks like we are joined here with our first place stream finisher and second place overall finisher, Flurry 14. Congratulations, Flurry. That was a wonderful run.
Well, I'm still kind of shaking a little bit, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I can only imagine. It was a really tight Zero fight. There was the one big bang there with a little bit low Foo. Were you a little nervous when you had that about 2,000 HP Foo and that big bang went out, or were you pretty confident it was going to low roll enough?
A little bit, but I've done enough of these to the point where 4,000 was kind of the number that the first big bang isn't always like one of those two isn't like the fully optimal like 2,700-ish big bang. So I haven't had one yet where he has at 4,000 he hasn't survived two of them. He doesn't always get to that particular one without getting the elixir off. Usually the character revive gets the elixir off, but you know, I was a little worried. I didn't want that to be the reason, because once I saw Crystal, I knew like there was a good shot that Dwarf Castle going in was what I was going to put my chips on if it opened up. I kind of feel like with like this setting and this flag set, you had to have like one or two things going in to say, all right, I'm going to prioritize this. And for me, it was Dwarf Castle going in, and like Rivers said, just make the correct guess and easy game, right?
Right, exactly. And that seems to be what's funneling a lot of the runners, stream at least, towards that correct play is that Dwarf Castle play first. So yeah, that was definitely the right call going in. Going back to your Zeromus fight here for a second, I did notice that you went with the 3 flares reflected in, or excuse me, 3 nukes reflected instead of 2. Were you a little worried about the damage? Were you calculating in your head and wanted to make sure it was there?
I was always worried. I've had it to where I've been like 500 off on that particular fight, and I don't want to say I felt ahead, but I felt like I had a good 15-20 seconds of wiggle room, considering like I almost exclusively only did required items. So I felt let's do the extra nuke, be okay with it. If I don't qualify by 15 seconds, I probably may not sleep the next day. But yeah, I think I was just kind of playing that safe in particular. I know 3 will do it. 2 will usually work. Ideally on a better anchor character to where I know like everybody's RA1, I would have the second revived character also put up a moon veil and then use the crystal to get a reflected nuke for about 1.5k that I know will always push over after the 2 nukes. I kind of stole that from a certain penguin. But usually that works, but with this particular agility setup, that wasn't going to fly. So I went with 3 nukes and I was like, let's just play it safe.
Well, yeah, it definitely paid off. So this means with the second place finish, you have officially made it to the final table. So you'll be competing in this flag set this coming Friday in the finals. Any thoughts about how you're going to approach that particular race? Anything you might do different, or any sort of personal strategies you got in mind for that?
I kind of feel like it, just knowing who I am up against, that I'm not going to say I have to play dumb, but I have to like take a kind of. I'm not going to be able to play it straight and beat Simbu, Rivers, and everybody else. That's not going to happen. With my execution's okay, but it's not like great. So I'm going to have to make a risk somewhere and figure out where that's going to be. And maybe it's opening up with ordeals. You never know. Maybe it's harp to start. I don't know. But I kind of feel like going into the final table, that's what I have to do if I want to win. If I just want to try to get like 5th or 6th place, then maybe I play it straight. I don't know. I'll flip a coin to figure it out.
Gotcha. Tirsu, is there anything you wanted to add or ask Flory here?
Just that BG Rich managed to get to that Zeromus fight just a little bit before you, and you managed to avoid the HP refill, and that's pretty much what got you the second place.
Yeah, I saw that in chat that he had triggered the refill, and I was like, oh, okay. Maybe I wasn't as ahead as I thought, but yeah, I mean, it's gonna take a little bit of luck, I think, to qualify in this particular setting. I mean, unless you're super, super good, and I'm not super, super good, so.
Well, I think there are many that would certainly argue against that. I mean, in a flag set like this, that's extremely technical. It takes a heck of a lot of talent to place as high as you did. So, I mean, GG on your second place finish. Congratulations on qualifying for the finals, and can't wait to see you at that final table.
All right, thank you very much, guys. Appreciate the restream commentary and all that good stuff.
Take care, Flory.
GG.
And speaking of BG Rich, we are actually joined here with BG Rich, who is our place finisher on stream. GG, BG Rich. That was a fantastic run. How did you feel about that seat overall?
It caught me by surprise. Like, I figured that 3 items on the table. Like, I saw that magma key and I looked at the other stuff and I was like, I'm not fighting any bosses. No point checking the Antlion Cave or Fabul yet. I was like, I'm just going to go straight down to the free item checks at over at the Sylph Cave to get Sheila's first item. And so when I saw that crystal, I was like, well, there's got to be at least 4 or 5 other people that did the same thing. So I was like, just do the best I can. So other than that, I think I screwed up. I did one extra kamikaze by accident. I hit it already, and then there was like the refill the black hole around the same time, and screw that up. So that kind of stuff.
That has happened more than my fair share of times in my Appleseed experience. So yeah, it was definitely heartbreaking to see that, because you were actually ahead of Flurry by a not unsubstantial margin going in that Z fight. But yeah, that just triggering that HP refill. You adapted really well to it, and got the fight done quickly. What was sort of going through your head once that triggered, and once you knew you had to shift gears in your strats?
When I saw that, I realized I also didn't use the Soma drops that I bought. So I was like, well, I guess I have to start popping elixirs. If I had done that a little bit better too, that may have saved some turns with Fu. So I was like, pretty much Life 2 and Reflect Nuke, and just keep doing it until the yellow lights come on and Z starts flashing. So I was just like, hopefully it gets in. And I saw those dot duns coming in, and I'm like, I should be able to get top 5 with this. But I was like, just go with it. Just whatever happens, and make sure I hit that send button.
Yeah, definitely. Now you did get 4th place, which isn't an automatic qualifier, but based on the way the wild cards are distributed, and the fact that there was a seemingly larger disparity in times today than yesterday, might be a good chance that you actually get in on wildcard here. Were you still going to do tonight's qualifier as well, or was this going to be your last qualifier attempt for today?
That's a good question. I was sitting on the fence on that, but I think since I didn't get the automatic bid, I think it only makes sense to I can clear some time in my schedule to play that 8 o'clock and see what happens.
Awesome. Will definitely be good. Great to see you play again here tonight.
Oh, definitely.
I just wanted to throw a shout out to my older brother. He's on Twitch at 64 Alex 25. He was the one that sent me the Kotaku article back at the beginning of the summer to learn about this randomizer. So everything that Boardface and all the programmers and the admin team here for Free Enterprise has been amazing, following the highway to the Zima Zone League and just seeing how much fun this game is. It's like playing a board game. I mean, you randomize it, you play again, and you can keep playing again, and it's a lot of fun.
Certainly very addicting as well.
It's like a Catan board, but there's no thief to steal all your stuff.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Well, GG BG Rich, thanks so much for being restreamed, and hopefully we'll see you again racing here tonight. It was definitely a pleasure watching you.
Sure thing. Thanks again too for commentating. I appreciate it.
Anytime. Take care.
GG.
GG.
And I did want to point out, we've had a number of finishes while we're doing our interviews, but one we definitely wanted to point out, we have a tie for 22nd place. Pause RPG and Ben RX8 both finishing with a time of 32 minutes, 32 seconds on the dot, tying for 22nd place. Not something you see every day, so GG to both of you.
That's actually kind of impressive.
If there was going to be a tie on a particular flag set, it was going to be Appleseed, but still pretty amazing to see. And speaking of apples, we've got Kate Sith distributing their apples here, getting ready to go into their Z fight. And looks like they'll be going for the probably based on the fact that they're bumping all of their characters up to max HP. Looks like they'll likely be going for kamikaze strats as well, and we'll see if they manage to execute and get that kamikaze strat off here.
Definitely, probably the most common strat to use and very easy to pull.
Yeah, it's all about counting numbers and making sure that you have the correct number of attacks and everything on there. And yeah, it can be a bit of a workout on your fingers here, distributing all these apples. You can actually button down to automatically distribute them. But if you tap the R button as you are holding A to pass those apples out, you can actually get the menu with the HP totals on it to disappear a little quicker. And it's kind of difficult to find the right rhythm, but if you mash rhythmically with the R button, you can actually feed everyone apples a lot quicker than you could just holding the A button down. And I know by the end of an Appleseed match, after I've done tapping R that many times, my fingers feel like jelly.
I actually did not know about the R button trick. I always just mash A until they're all filled. Yeah, definitely the slowest part of an Appleseed is getting your characters filled up with apples.
Yeah, it's a funny kind of flag set because it's very high octane, it's very quick, it's very technical. There's a lot of just getting in there, getting things done, making your checks quickly, getting everything you need, and then right before the big climax of the boss fight, there's a couple minutes of menuing where you're just constantly listening to chimes over and over as apples get force-fed down your characters' throats.
Kate Sith did feed some Soma drops to Fu as well.
Yeah, definitely not a terrible idea, as Fu does not have the largest MP pool in the world. So it's definitely a good backup to make sure that Fu's going to have that MP that you need to do all the spell casting. You do have access to elixirs, but if you can get away with not having to spend a turn feeding Fu an elixir to get that MP back, then that's definitely going to be beneficial to you.
Oh, most definitely.
Oh, Swimmy Leone helping us out in chat. Talking about the rhythm for mashing R. You can tell if you don't see the hand, however, of your character's name that you're doing it right. So, real nice tip there.
Awesome. That is very good to know.
And Kate Sith prepares to face off against their own personal annoying dog. I'll take this time to thank our entire Restream team here today. We have Simbu doing the actual Restream here today, so big shout-outs to them. And Jory Sneff is doing our tracking for everybody today, which has been a much more monumental task than maybe it has for the previous qualifying races. So big shout-outs to both of them. Give them both a follow. Really appreciate the work that they've done here today to bring this event to you.
It was very awesome of Simbu to step up because yesterday there wasn't going to be a restream of this match, and it.
Yeah, it's really great to see. Our initial plan wasn't necessarily to have restreams available for all of the qualifiers, but just because of various community members stepping up and offering their bandwidth and their processing power on their computers to get restreams going, we've actually managed to get every single qualifier this week restreamed. So huge shout out to those volunteers. It's really awesome that able to bring all of the this qualifying action to you. And the battle begins in earnest, and the kamikazes are flying.
I believe that is kamikaze number 3.
Yep, and with the fourth one coming out, it's going to be time for Fu to start reflecting nukes. Now, I noticed that Kate Sith is not, is choosing not to cast Life 2 on any of his party members. Might be planning, with the amount of damage he's putting out with those nukes, he might just be planning to burn down Zeromus just with the nukes alone and forgoing the final kamikaze entirely. Let's see if this ends up working out pretty well. Looks like it should, since those nukes are doing straight 9 damage. And this might be the final nuke here. And Kate Sith's got it.
Nicely done.
Finishing up with a final official SRL time of 43 minutes, 45 seconds. So, GG Kate Sith.
GG, nicely played, and was able to give us music hype on stream.
And we'll see if they want to jump in here for a quick interview. And yeah, looks like they'll be joining us. And it looks like we're joined by Kate Sith. So, GG Kate Sith. Congratulations on being the hero of chat and getting that music played for.
Yeah, and I was actually also hoping the crystal. I was hoping the crystal or have it. I was actually kind of hoping that would be required for everyone else.
Yeah, unfortunately, not a music required seed, but that didn't stop you from being the number one in all of chat's hearts for making that play. Just ended up being real rough with the plays that you made. You did the whole overworld check, and just nothing happened because it was sitting on Sheila the whole time.
It was sitting on Sheila without the pan the whole time.
Right. Did you was there at any point were you thinking to go in the underground, or were you just kind of dead set on clearing the entire underworld before you?
I was thinking it had to be somewhere simpler. Had to be somewhere simple, and that I was so like I was kind of I didn't think that it would like I knew the crystal had to be somewhere simple, and that, but and I was thinking dwarf castles usually simple.
Right, and then that was basically what all of our featured runners did was, made that simple dwarf castle check, got the pan that led him to Sheila, and while the pan wasn't strictly necessary, it put him in the right direction.
Yeah.
You had a very clean Zeromus fight, a really really strong showing of the kamikaze strats. You notice you didn't even bother to life to anyone. Were you just confident that your flare?
I forgot. While I forgot to life. I forgot to life to. That's what I should have done when I was instead of the parry on my first time Fu came around.
Right. Well, we were actually gonna. I was actually gonna say that it actually worked out since your Fu's nukes were hitting so hard that it really didn't. You really didn't need the final kamikaze. I don't think you really lost too much time overall going with the strat that you had, so it actually worked out really well.
Yeah. Well, it's like I had. Well, the reason Nukes Fu was hitting so hard is because of his equipment. He had a Stardust Rod and Adamant Armor.
Yeah, which I believe you were both from Kaipo, so Kaipo really generous today.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, his because as you noted, his nuke hit hard on Mylon Z as well.
Yeah, it kind of tore through everything, even things you would normally have a little bit of resistance against. No, he was there was no stopping.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, congratulations on your finish. And were you planning on running the final qualifier tonight, or was
Well,
this gonna...
I pretty much have to if I want a chance at the finals table because I know that because I'm not even in the Z score bubble yet.
Right. Well,
And
this is an
and
enormously...
based on the fact that everybody that's currently in the Z score bubble can be knocked out in one race, but they basically have to place like the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and and the Z score all has to be above whatever is required to knock them out. So basically, it's like for the guaranteed finals, I have to place first or second. And otherwise, if I don't, then I have to place in third, fourth, fifth, or sixth to even have a chance.
Right. Yeah. It's
to get into the Z score bubble.
Yeah, it's brutally competitive, especially in this this Appleseed event where things are really kind of honed to a razor's edge. So glad to see you're gonna be back and try giving it another shot. I can't wait to see you racing again tonight. Did you have any final thoughts on the seed or anything you wanted to share with us today?
No, not really. At least this seed wasn't quite like it wasn't quite so gotta go now and not as the last two races were, and that like because like for one thing I kind of got my wish, no crystal at the start or in Bedward. But
we actually got to see a little bit more of the game this time.
But in a way, I was hoping though that it wouldn't have been quite. But now I also don't want it behind Sheila 1 or even in the rat tail chest.
Right.
Like I don't want it in any of the free spots.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, good luck tonight, and thanks again for agreeing to be restreamed here. It was a pleasure watching you. GG on your finish. Can't wait to see you again tonight.
Yeah. Okay.
And well, that was great. We really got to see some fantastic play here today. Thanks everybody for watching. We are going to shoot it over here with a raid at RPG Limit Break. They're doing a marathon of Tales, the Tales of Marathon here today. So shoot you over to that. Yeah, it was really great. Any final thoughts to share here today, Tirsu?
Kate Sith said it best. I am really glad we didn't have a bedward crystal or starting crystal. It was nice to get a music hype, and overall, just great run from all our runners.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I have been Smeepy. I've been joined here by Tirasu. Our restreamer is Simbu, and our tracker has been Jory Snaff. Definitely give all of them a follow here. They all deserve it. All a fantastic crew here today. Thanks so much for watching, and we're going to go ahead and shoot you over to RPG Limit Break. So take care.
Have a good one.